That's me vibrating.
That's me vibrating. That's okay. It doesn't matter because this is a casual podcast. And if you're vibrating, that's all right. We'll let that happen. George and George Jr.,
Yep.
welcome to the Jersey Buzz. So, George Sr., let's talk a little bit about, you guys feel the need for speed, as they say. Where did you start behind the wheel of a race car?
Well, I started as a kid going to the track and seeing family members that raced. My stepfather raced, and just going as a little kid, and I just really liked it. When he stopped racing, my neighbor lived across the street from me, owned the speed shop, so became friends with them, and he ended up leasing the track and became the track owner for a while at East Windsor Speedway. So I've been involved with it since I was little. I just always wanted to do it. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't really care too much about baseball and football and stuff. I wanted to be a race car driver.
Hey, everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
And then that DNA molecule, if it's a molecule, I don't even know, went to Junior. And when did you start behind the wheel?
Probably about 5, but I started actually racing about 8. So
Nice.
Started with a track in the backyard and practicing there and learning all the basics.
So it's a very similar story.
Yeah.
And I love it. No, so anybody else in your family?
No. My daughter tried it with the quarter midgets for a while. My wife's raced a couple powder puff races. But it's just me. And then we have a lot of friends that we helped get started. And it just progressed. And that's all I know now. Everybody says, why do you keep doing it? It's all I know. In 99, I hurt my back and gave up driving and just started working on people's cars. And then around 2001, I got the itch again and started driving for people instead of my own stuff, which was fun every once in a while. And then after selling everything, getting rid of everything I had, he decided he wanted to try to go quarter midget racing. He said he wanted to try it. And I thought I had kind of squashed that bug, but the minute he said he wanted to, I built a car. And he had a friend that went quarter midget racing, and they helped us get started. They had 2 cars. They let him drive 1 car. And it's kind of got it all started.
So for people who don't know much about the type of cars, there's different types of race cars.
Yeah, there's a lot of different types of race cars.
So what type of race car, what is it that you drive? What is that called?
We
It's like a
drive
box,
circle track. It's not drag racing, but it's a circle track, and it's on a dirt track, not an asphalt track.
Okay.
So we're kind of like the original drifters, you want to call it, because you're sideways most of the time.
You're sideways most of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, you're going through the corner
So
sideways.
you're going through the corners, you go, okay.
Yeah, you're sliding. And the cars that we drive are mainly to this area here. They're called Northeast Modifieds.
Uh-huh.
They've kind of adapted to modifieds all over the country in different ways. There's an interest in the South now for them, which is great since we're going to be moving south, but I don't have to give away everything I got because there's no value in a race car once you race it. There's no, you buy it for $50,000 and it's worth $5,000 the next week. So,
Yeah. And
so
it
it's
keeps
nice.
just going down and down. So let's talk about that. The whole point, well, obviously to win, you go around you're in a fast car, you're on dirt, you're going sideways, and there's other people on the track, and it's called boom.
Yeah.
Now you guys have a pretty interesting story here. You broke your neck.
Yes, in 2003.
Whoa. So that was kind of the last time you...
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of said, and your wife's like, no.
I got in a couple races since then. The racetrack had a 2-seater car that they had built.
Uh-huh.
So I used to take fans out for rides. So that gave me my fix.
Right. But coming back from neck injury, that's not, you're probably still coming back.
Well, I went a whole year before I knew I had a broken neck.
What?
Yeah, so it healed wrong. We were actually on vacation in Florida. We were going on a Disney cruise and a week in Disney.
Oh.
And I got to drive somebody's car in Florida.
Okay.
And at the Speedway, I ended up getting in a crash. And I was unconscious for like 17 minutes. They cut me out of the car. And I woke up in a U-Haul truck because they didn't have an ambulance.
Jeez.
And that's kind of what got me started in working with the state police and New Egypt Speedway as the safety director back when Bill Masosky and Fred Balsing took over the racetrack.
Yeah.
So I just saw a need to have something that was a little bit more safety wise, because the main goal is to go home to your family at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And
I'm just saying, it is kind of like a fun sport. It's not like you're like
there's a lot of
saving
it.
lives with it,
Yeah.
but obviously, so that was that was my cue to go to George Jr. So, Junior, you had your share of accidents, which, okay, blazing fire right here. Andrew, pull up the blazing fire. You're in that car. That's your helmet. That's your arm. That's you on fire. Okay, seriously. Take us to that day. You're coming around the corner. I mean, what happened? Like, how did you? I don't know. Just go ahead.
I mean, it was a little ironic because before I even went on the track, we weren't even actually racing. We were just going out for practice. And before I pulled up, I noticed I had a issue with the fuel gauge, and I pulled up, and he was working as the safety director. So it was kind of ironic for me to have a fire, and he's working as the safety guy. So I pulled up and told him, man, the gauge is acting funny. He said, oh, you'll be fine. It's just a couple laps for practice. And third lap out of 5 of them, went into the corner, and the sound was probably the scariest part. It's
Mhm.
kind of like roaring in your face. And
Jeez.
instinctively, I thought, try to get to the fire truck in the infield, but then it gets really hot really fast. And you don't
Really?
really have a choice but to start getting out. And through all the training that he taught me when I was a kid on safety and getting out, like he always taught me, train getting your seatbelt off, getting the steering wheel off, getting out. So didn't panic and made it out safe enough, but still
So,
had some burns.
yeah, well, okay, so let's go back because this is really extreme. I'd be gone. We wouldn't be having this conversation, as would most drivers. You're saying, as a child, what did your father, torture you with that saved your
Uh,
life?
just covering your eyes, pretty much putting what we call a head sock, which is a safety device. But normally you wear it and it leaves your eyes open so you can see out, but it protects you smoke, flames from getting in your throat if you get on fire. So we used to put that on backwards when I was a kid, tip the car over and practice getting in and out multiple different ways if there was a crash or a fire without being able to see. You got to know how to do your belts, put them on, take them off, get your steering wheel off, practice getting out of the car because we don't have doors. You got to climb out through a hole that's about that big.
So, as a kid, did you feel tortured or you were into it?
I mean, I was into it. I mean,
Just kidding.
everything you want to do becomes, I don't know.
Saved your
No one
life.
really wants to practice. Everybody wants to do it when it comes time, but the practice part is the important part. So, yeah, I probably didn't like it as a kid as much, but looking back, I'm glad he did it.
It
So,
saved your life. I mean, right? Because you were saying the average person in that situation
it's
probably
been-
would have had even more injuries.
there's
I
been
mean, look
quite
at
a
these
few people.
blisters. That's your knee.
Yeah.
That's ouch. How long does it really hurt?
It doesn't
like
hurt anymore, but it probably
at the
it took
time.
a-
I
oh,
can't even
yeah.
imagine the pain.
Well, they take a
Sorry.
cheese grater and scrape all that off every 2 days. So we had to go to the
For
burn
real?
center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Dang.
it makes you really realize it's not that bad because when you're in the burn center, you're there for your leg and you see real people with
Seriously.
severe burns on most of their body. It's a tough
So
deal.
you're grateful.
Oh yeah.
At first, you're like, I can't believe it. The pain. They're like, I'm good, right?
Yeah, I was always pretty good with pain.
Really have a
I
height
was-
one of those?
Yeah, I got hurt a
Lucky
lot when
you.
I was a kid. So
Well, yeah, I would imagine so. Growing up with a father who's like, "Hey, toss you in a car," but you know what? Honestly, that's what you are. It's your passion. You're still driving. You also had one more injury.
yeah, I broke my back in 2019. So that was a fun one. Almost beats the
Wow.
fire just because I still deal with a lot of pain to this day. So
Jeez. So, and you still love the sport.
yeah, I mean,
I guess that's why you do it. Now, here's a question. I mean, in being realistic here, you catch on fire. We won't even get to how your dad tortured you. No, I'm just kidding. You catch on fire and you break your back. How do you get back in a car?
Hmm.
What makes you do it? Like you,
I don't know. I don't know if that's a problem I have with myself on like a death wish or something, or if I'm just
no.
that confident that
Well, because some people
something
get in
won't
a,
happen again.
yeah, some people will get in a car accident or something will happen or whatever, and it just it's even less than what you went through. So I thought maybe you had like some little magic mindset trick. No?
Nah, I'm very
Weird.
religious, so
Oh.
pray to God every time before I go out. just, to get back and get back to my family. And
I love that.
that's it.
Yeah. Hey, that right there, faith.
It comes down to most of it.
I know. Well, good job for the faith thing. It's important.
That's the wife.
That's the wife.
That's the wife. Yeah, I'm one of them back pew guys.
Back pew guys. Well, I'm a big believer in God and faith, and I think that it does help you get through some tough times and back in the car. So now, what's coming up? You racing again this year?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So tell us.
Give it a try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at New Egypt.
Yeah, New Egypt Speedway is our local track that we run at. It's like our home track.
It's your home.
Yeah.
Away from home.
Yeah, I like
Right?
it a little more than most tracks too. It's a technical track, so it takes most guys to actually be a pretty good driver to get around there. I like to think New Egypt, we got a good bit of the better half of the drivers that are out there. So
Really? Well, first of all, we're excited to come to one of the beginning of the season, which is in April.
Yes.
Okay.
The regular season opens in April.
Yeah, I know.
There's
Daisy.
a big race coming up. The Super Dirt Series is coming there at the
Okay.
end of March to do their beginning of their series, which is a traveling series. So
Well, that's cool. I don't really know much about it, so I'm very excited to learn. I know we're going to put Daisy like in a race car, and I'm going to be part of the crew because does that sound like it? Is that good?
well, it's more clicky now. It's
Oh, it's
electric.
click.
There's no air anymore.
watched
It's
too
all
much-
everything's electric.
I watch too much TV. No, but we're excited to see how that goes. And it's just a fun night out with family. Tell us a little bit about
Some nights are fun. Some nights you leave in handcuffs.
good to know. Is that where they have the police patrol? Well, so you could do that in an Eagles game too, just saying.
Well, it's an expensive, risky sport. And when you got guys that don't have the respect for each other and
Equipment.
you pointlessly go out there and run into someone just because you want to win a plastic trophy a little more and a couple $100 more than the guy, because none of us are racing there to go home with money in our pockets. We all lose money every week going to the races. We do it for the pure love and passion of the sport. And
Oh, that's a good point. How much does it cost to run a car, or does your wife not know? It's kind of like buying shoes.
No, she knows. We've been together almost 40 years now, so she's
still got to try to hide
Well,
it.
you
a
look
little.
for you get sponsors, right?
Yeah, we try to get sponsors, but we work off a very low budget. We do the best we can do with what we have. It's tough, like he says. We go out sometimes. We don't have the same equipment, the brand new stuff, used tires most of the weeks, older parts. We replace them when they get broke.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I think in this you'd have to be recycle, so you're sustainable.
Yeah, but when you're running the top line up front every week, you got some new stuff. You got, the newer motors. Our motors are 6 years old, and we run them until they're no more. A lot of guys get new motors every year. It's supposed to be an affordable division, but people get into them and cheat them, which makes it hard when we go out on a track and you know that you're out-dollared right from the start.
Yeah.
And
So
it's supposed to be an equal division where you're supposed to be set up your car and be the best driver, and everybody's supposed to have an equal motor, but you don't.
yeah. Is there a purse for each level, or when you race, you race one weekend, do you get to a certain level and go to the next, or you just go every weekend and it's just
It's all driven off money. If we could move up, we'd move up to the modifieds, but you're talking $40,000 to $50,000 for a motor. It's a big expense.
If I had a big enough wallet, I could be in NASCAR next year.
Yeah,
It's just
so.
it's a money game.
Isn't it all? But coming up, we have April 5th, I think was the first, right?
I believe so.
Oh,
I don't really know the schedule. I hate the beginning of racing season every year because it always comes too fast.
I know. And
You're
then
never really ready. I think that's me vibrating.
that's me vibrating. That's okay. It doesn't matter because this is a casual podcast. And if you're vibrating, that's all right. We'll let that happen. He's like, oh, this is my father. But anyway,
You have
so
no
for
idea.
anybody who's interested to come out, so first let's talk about New Egypt. Is there admission to get in?
Yeah, there's admission.
Food?
I don't know exactly what it costs to get in for admission now. We're at the back gate, so we don't really know what the
Right. Well,
fans
you're the
pay.
entertainment.
Yeah, we're the entertainment.
Yeah, so if someone comes there, I'm sure it's affordable family fun.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
take your family out there, the kids get it, or whoever gets to watch cars crash into each other.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not, right?
Some people go for that.
There's food and
Yeah, they got a nice ice cream shack. It's like called the Sweet Shack. So they got ice cream
okay.
and
They've got
snacks
anything
and
you need.
candy for
Cool.
the kids, and they try
Food's
to
good.
do a lot of different little things for the kids to be involved with the racing. So
Oh, I love
it's
it.
nice to see that like coming back because that stopped for a few years. So
Yeah, no, you got to have food. I'm sorry. Just always have to have food when you go to an event.
it's got to
just
be
a
good
thing.
food. That's the problem.
Well, that's true. I'm good with like a hot dog and popcorn.
Yeah, but you
But
could,
anyway.
you could even have a pretty bad hot dog sometimes.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah,
I
there
think they're
is.
hot bad all the time. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming in. We can't wait to come down to the track. Everybody out there, this is April with the Jersey Buzz. And remember to support local entertainment. New Egypt Racetrack. It's a place, look, you just met 2 stars here. And come out and cheer them on because it always makes a game better when you know someone in the
Yeah,
arena,
come
right?
out, have fun.
Yeah.
Come
Stay
down,
after the
come down in the
races.
pits after the races, have a beer with us, sit in the car.
Oh, yeah, the after party. I heard all about that.
We're there.
Yeah,
We're only there
we're pretty
3
known
hours
for
after.
hanging out there pretty late.
We don't leave the track till 3 hours after it's over. So
You have to celebrate or mourn, either one.
We believe in like old school tradition, you know. You should sit there and wait in case there's fans that want to come down and actually see you.
Yeah, you know
A lot
what?
of the big guys, they pack up and leave right
they're
away.
gone before the races are over.
And when I was a kid, that was the best part. You stood there and waited to run down the pits and see all the big name guys that you knew that were on the track. And now everyone leaves.
Oh, that's a good point. I love that.
And it's like family that you only get to see once a week.
Good.
So all the other drivers and stuff that hang out with us, we have a really good
All
time.
right. So not only do you get entertainment, but you get the after party, and they'll sign autographs too, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
We'll get autographs done. Boom. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
everybody, like, share, and comment if you like this show.